Christopher's journey has coincided with the time in tremendous drug development in Duchenne. When he was diagnosed, we didn't have any available therapies. We were just working in mouse models, didn't have a lot of industry interest, and through a lot of advocacy work, through several organizations and several individuals and families that went to fund their own and biotech companies, we've seen it all in Duchenne. 20 years later, we have 8 approved therapies. We have 2 in the near-term pipeline, and potentially, hopefully to be approved soon. Through circumstance, I was exposed to the concept of clinical trials. Personally, I didn't know anything about clinical trials. I think this is something that's pretty common. When you get a diagnosis, you're not only learning about the disease, but you're also learning about the whole clinical trial world. And this is it's an unknown universe to the average person. Obviously, it was trying to save my son's life. Christopher had a strange mutation. There are some mutations that are more common, and there are some mutations that are more mild. He has an uncommon, severe mutation. And that really kept me engaged in what was going to work for him, because so many approaches weren't going to work for him. So I think that was one of the reasons I stayed so involved in the science part, just constantly searching. We do have some families in the Duchenne space that prefer to go to a clinic. They feel, they just like that idea. I would say for the most part, it would show that a company is appreciating the burden that they're placing on the family, and that they are really trying to come at this from a patient-centric standpoint, where we're not just thinking about how you can help us, but how can we make this as easy on you as possible. We want these kids to become, and they are. I mean, Duchenne boys are doing things that Duchenne boys have never done before, going to college, having jobs. Some are getting married. Yeah. So they are living longer, and they're looking for lives. They want to have more typical lives. Now, their lives are not exactly typical, but I think asking busy men who have extreme disability to come in is a big ask. I just think it's such a cool model. I hear about decentralized trials just about every conference and every call. You hear so much about it. I do work in clinical trials. So to have a company that really is doing it all from a decentralized state, that was something. In the pediatric space, families become very attached to their nurses, the people that are coming in. I think it's a concept that people have to get used to. It's new. I think when you think about clinical research, you automatically think about having to go in someplace. You're building the trust. You're doing the work. You're having the oversight from FDA. They're not finding any reasons for concerns. I think that's how you build trust. What brings me hope is the fact that a family with a new diagnosis of Duchenne, we just recently got Duchenne on the federal RUSP for newborn screening. I know that boys that get this diagnosis now are going to have different outcomes than my son. And when we got the diagnosis on Chris 20 years ago, I already recognized that research was at a tipping point, and that he would either just make it into something transformative or just miss it. And sometimes I feel like he just missed it, but he is in a cardiac study right now that's showing very good results. I mean, the cardiac and respiratory failure is usually what takes boys in the end. God, there's so much that brings me hope. I have a lot of concerns right now too, but my hope is that all this has changed outcomes for others. Now I'm working in other forms of muscular dystrophy and neurodevelopmental things. And I think the thing I've realized more than anything is it's incremental. It's rare to see something that truly transforms a disease in one fell swoop.